Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the October 21st Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee meeting. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I will take a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Motion from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Howard. No questions or comments on the agenda. Please vote.
Son of a.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of the minutes dated October 20th, 2025. I'll take a motion to approve.
Support Perna.
Support Van Sickle.
Motion from Commissioner Perna, support from Commissioner Van Sickle. Seeing no comments or questions on the minutes, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next item is public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak for 3 minutes on any item on today's agenda is welcome to come to the podium. Anybody for public participation? Seeing none, we'll close the first public participation. There is one more before the end of the meeting. And we will move on to item 6, budget reviews. I will take a motion to receive and file budget reviews for Corporation Counsel, Ethics Board, Human Resources and Labor Relations, and the Board of Commissioners.
So move Van Sickle.
Motion from Commissioner Haas, support from Commissioner Van Sickle. And with that, we will start with John and Corporation Counsel. Commissioners, this is page C22 in your budget book.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to appear before you for, I hope, just a very few minutes to present the budget for the calendar year 2026 for the Office of the Corporation Counsel. Once again, I stand before you and I'm not asking for anything I didn't have last year. The increases that you might see are accountable to salary increases dictated by collective bargaining agreements. There are some increases in expenses that we don't really control. One was our Lexis, which is our computerized research tool. We have that on a subscription basis, 10 subscriptions, one for each computer hooked up, and those prices have gone up, and then there's an increase in bar dues. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Ha.
Thank you, Chair. John, in the budget, it shows reimbursements, a revenue of $180,000. What is that?
I had a question on that myself.
There's somebody who's going to answer behind you.
Is that the shared services?
It's the CMH for Drew.
Okay.
For CMH revenue.
The $180,000 is the revenue that is paid by CMH funding one of the positions in my office for an attorney dedicated to CMH.
Okay, say that again.
One of the positions in my office is actually funded by CMH, and that is the CMH contribution to pay the salary and benefits.
Does CMH know that?
Yes, they do. That was worked out with them a couple of years ago, a
Thank
few
you.
years
That's
ago.
all I have, Chair.
It's money well spent, Commissioner Ha. All right, seeing no other speakers, John, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to the Ethics Board. I don't believe we have anybody attending from the Ethics Board, but Chair Sabatini spoke to them today
I did.
and will give us an update.
So I did speak to the chairman of the Ethics Board today. He did state to me that he fully supports his budget. He couldn't be here. But what was recommended by the executive meets their needs, current needs. He also did state that they have the annual report for 2024, and that's going to be added to Commissioner Hawes' Government Oversight Committee in November. So that'll be on the agenda for them. That's it, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Any questions from commissioners? Okay. Carlin, you're up already. We're moving at warp speed today. Commissioners, it's going to be budget page C41 for HR. Carlin, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I too don't have a lot to talk about today in terms of the HR department's budgets. You'll see really just two increases other than the normal cost of doing business anymore. Two of the things that I thought you might question is the expense that you have for our advertising funds. We have asked for an additional $25,000 in advertising money just to help us continue with our advertising costs. As one of our priorities downstairs is to recruit new talent to the county, and so this would allow us to have the ability to do that more efficiently. We already are using LinkedIn for a lot of our advertising. We do stuff with Indeed, but this would allow us to do some additional advertising as was needed for some of our unique and hard to fill positions. And then the only other thing I think that you may have maybe caught your eye was under the consultants, if that shows up on your side. We're just condensing our categories and consultants. Felt that was more appropriate to be a little bit more generalized in how we use professional consultants. We used to have categories called investments and professional services, and I've asked for that money to be combined. So we pay, out of our HR budget, we pay $30,000 a year for Macomb County's investment consultant. So that's already being paid out of there. And then I've asked for an additional $10,000 to have available as I may need additional consultants for professional projects as they come up. You will, in case I get asked the question, we also have reimbursements in our department, and we also have an employee in our department who is paid for by Community Mental Health that works on the HR duties for the CMH department. And then also some of our reimbursement comes from the pension board for our retirement services division. With that, I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Carlin. CMH is everywhere. I love it. Commissioner Goike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you. When you were talking about the consultants, is that the contract services line item for $290,000? If not, what's the contracted services for? Or is that?
Vicki says yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Van Sickle. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hi.
For personnel, there's been upward jumps right along, but then between 26 and 27, there's only a couple $1,000s in personnel jumps, but then there's a larger than normal jump up to 28. Is there some reasons you can share with us why it's a very small jump and then a very big jump?
I'm sorry, I don't know where you're looking at. I'm not adding any staff this year.
On the personnel line, C41, right? Yeah, on the personnel line of Human Resources and Labor Relations sheet.
In the forecasted budget.
I would imagine that's the across-the-board increases.
Sorry. We'll look into that, because you're right, that is a small, considering 3%. Should be a little more spread, I believe.
Yeah, I
than
would
that.
have
We'll
thought they
just
would get a
double
little
check.
bit more than $2,000 across the whole department.
Correct, right, that's on us, Carlin, sorry.
Okay. And then as the number of county personnel increases, does your department use any industry statistics as to how many, for instance, people in the personnel department, how many, like one person in personnel department to 100 or 1,000 or whatever employees across the company? Do you use those kind of industry statistics?
I have not.
Okay, is that something that you could look into and let us know?
I could.
Because I'm wondering as we grow if you maybe need more people.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you. That's it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
In regards to your capital outlay, I know that's the ADA request for the desks. How many have we approved like this year? Is that budget adequate? It's $10,000. It was that for this year, and then it's the same amount going forward. Is that
I did look at that. Surprisingly, that number is low. When I was doing our budget request, I was looking at it. I don't have it with me how many purchases we've made, but we are definitely on track to spend just under 10,000. That is a category that we really can't determine how much we're going to spend because we don't know those needs as they come up. We have been having a lot. The majority of our purchases go to stand-up desks or ergonomic chairs for the most part. But yes, I do believe 10,000 is sufficient for us for 2026.
Okay. And then the other question I have, it's actually in regards to the capital plan that we talked about yesterday. I was just kind of looking at your department, and basically all the IT requests for your department are related to Workday.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand this because there are a lot of modules listed for HR.
Yes.
I thought when we bought Workday, basically these modules were all inclusive in Workday. Can you just kind of elaborate a little bit more as to what the plan is with all of these modules?
I think it's, from my understanding, it's helpful for me to understand their enhancements. So we have the base, and these are additional things that we're looking to add. And so if I look at what we're asking for in 2026 specifically, I can dig into that. So the Workday check-in, check-out, that's actually a program we're looking at for Macomb Community Action to be used in our Head Start program. Through licensing, one of the things that we need is to be able to quickly be able to verify that we've met our ratios and things like that. So this is an enhancement in Workday that would allow, once those members, to best understand it, once an employee gets to their work site, they can log in on their computer and check in that they are there. So it's a small enhancement that we're looking to work with Community Mental Action, Macomb Community Action on. The next item I have in 2026 is the flex time. And so this is a payroll enhancement for us. One of my goals is that we would start really utilizing the payroll functioning aspect from an HR perspective for our employees to be entering their time into Workday. And so we don't have the ability to recognize flex time. Right now, there's calendars that are built into Workday, and the calendar indicates that you're a 7.5, you're an 8-hour employee. Well, if I'm working 6 hours today and making up an hour and a half tomorrow, I'm not comfortable asking employees to verify their time when it's not accurate. So this would be an enhancement for us to allow our system to do a better job of tracking some of those things that are not the calendar specific or the calendars that are input into the system. The $50,000 that we're looking at here for the HCM in-depth review, this would be something similar to what the finance department has recently done. It's been a couple years now, just 2 years since we implemented, and as we were just talking downstairs before I came, we did the best that we could when we implemented Workday. We relied on consultants to help direct us and to guide us into some of the decisions we made. Looking back, some of those areas we now have more information on, and so it's an opportunity for Guidehouse to come in and help us to analyze the way that we do business to see if there's improvements that can be made. So we are interested, hopefully, in doing something like that as well to make sure we're being as efficient as we can downstairs. The next item that I have for 2026 would be the Workday recruiting and leave enhancements. I think on my document, you guys give us a document to fill out the accomplishments and such that you're looking for. You'll see both of those items are actually part of the accomplishments or the goals that we have downstairs. Two things I want to focus on in 2026 is automating leave of absences. I was here last year talking about that is an area for us that the amount of leaves that we have at any given time is higher than we've ever seen before. Takes a lot of our staffing time, and so we want to automate that process. So we've been working with Workday currently to automate our leave of absence processing in Workday. It's a massive project. We have not been able to complete that this year, so we're looking to have that finished up in 2026. And then the other thing would be on recruiting. And so I would honestly say we took a step back in the application processing functions in Workday when we went to Workday from NeoGov. NeoGov was an applicant tracking system that was solely there just tracking applications. while we took a step back in recruiting, we took many steps forward in onboarding and doing that entire transition from applicant to hire. One of the things I want to do is to really focus on trying to get our applicant system, that side, the recruiting side, to be much more efficient than it is currently. So I'm looking for staffing. Those are our two priorities downstairs in 2026, is to make sure we're utilizing the equipment that we have well.
Okay. And you've been attending the Workday Convention in the past. I know it's on your current request for this year, but have you been attending that in previous years?
Last year, 2024, I sent 3 staff members, one from our operations, one from our benefits and retirement, and one from our recruitment team. We chose not to go this year. I did ask for it to be in our budget for this year. We chose to not go this year based on just some circumstances. We felt our time and money was better served staying home and working on the projects that we already had in place versus starting and going and learning about new things that we're not ready for. But we are planning hopefully to go next year. And those are good resourcing opportunities for us, as well as learning the things that are on the horizon.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Howard.
Thanks, Chair. Chair Sabatini asks my questions in regards to Workday. I just have one other one. Is most of the budgets that we're looking at have capital outlay zeroed out. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 departments that have something under the capital outlay, like budget line item. I was just curious on what's the reason for that. I don't know if that's a Vicky question.
Good afternoon. When we were going through the process of leaving items in and leaving out, we thought because the ADA items are so specific to HR and something that really needs to be provided to them, that should stay in their budget and not be put in the mix with capital projects where it may or may not get funded.
Gotcha. I understand. Thank you so much. I'm surprised that you're guys able to do that in that small dollar amount, considering like the needs of in regards to the laws around ADA. So great job. Thank you.
I am too.
Thanks, Commissioner. Carlin, a question on your spreadsheet on the supplemental. One of your challenges is contract negotiations. And I don't know if I've brought this up to you in the past or if it was just rolling around in my head. Is there a way that we can, I know we have certain contracts X year, 25, certain contracts expire in 26. Is there a way that we could do all the contracts in the same year? Is that a possibility? Maybe going forward? Andy's smirking at me. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I think it's challenging as it is. Quite honestly, to stagger them would be more challenging because we'd always be competing, looking at somebody else. We do have our sheriff department groups on a separate cycle. That makes sense to us because all of those sheriff groups are 312 eligible. They're all in one department. So that group was intentionally moved out from all of the rest. I don't know that I'd actually be comfortable staggering any of the others because they're so intertwined. I truly believe that, and you'll see that when we bargain, that we believe all of our employees should be treated the same, and it would be difficult to stagger them and have those conversations separately.
That's kind of what I was wondering is, you have all the contracts up in the same year, so you're negotiating all the contracts in the same year, so everybody's on the same plane as opposed to, in 24, this group got 3%, in 25, this group got 4% or 2%, whatever it may be. To me, doing them all at once would almost level it better than having them staggered, but I'm also not an HR professional nor a master negotiator. So just in my mind, it seemed to make sense that way to negotiate, go in the room all at the same time, come out with the same or similar product, as opposed to in 24, well, this group got 3 and we want 3.5 and things like that. So
quite honestly, I don't know if we'd finish if we had them all staggered because they'd always be watching everybody else to see who got a better deal and
fair.
waiting for that for themselves.
Okay, and then, thank you for that. And then along those lines too, when it comes to budgeting and how we're doing the contracts and things like that, I know you're working on them for months and months and months, and we see them, November, December normally. And then, the executive will come out and say, oh, we're most likely going to have a 3% increase year after year after year, whatever it may be. I think it's usually, mid-year, and then that message is relayed to the department heads and to us so we can formulate that into the budget. When it goes higher or lower than that, how are we supposed to manage that, I guess? When we're planning for 3%, we're budgeting for 3%. If you come back and say this group is at 2%, obviously we're saving a little money on that end, but budgetarily, we're all, planning for 3. Or if it's 3.5, if it's higher, we have to find those funds somewhere else. How are you able to negotiate higher percentages than what, was kind of the directive given?
Of course, all of those conversations are had with the finance department before those are ever even discussed at the table with the executive's authorization on those. I'd have to bring Vicky up to talk about how that would look at in terms of the logistics, but I don't step out of that authority knowing that we can't afford something without covering that through the department first.
Understandable. Thank you, Carlin. I think I'm the last question, so you're all set. Thank you very much. Last but not least is the Board of Commissioners, budget page C17. It says Chair Sabatini, but I know Crystal's going to do it.
Unless
Go
the
ahead,
chair
Crystal.
wants to say anything before I start? No.
Looks like he's good.
Okay. I have a presentation. I'll make it quick. However, if anyone wishes for me to stop and expand on anything, just let me know. The board has considered 632 agenda items so far this year, which is an increase from 34% when I ran the numbers last year at budget time. I have a couple of slides that highlight the different community events that commissioners attend. Our social media following has increased 88% over the past 2 years. In 2025, we've introduced some new series, including the casual day check presentations, the community video clips, commissioners in leadership, which highlight the different roles our commissioners have outside of the boardroom, and the volunteer spotlight. The county budget funds memberships to both MAC and SEMCOG. 2 commissioners are members of the MAC board, Commissioner Lucido and Commissioner Wallace, who was just sworn in as president. We did have 6 commissioners attend the 2 different conferences this year. Commissioners Van Sickle and Grote are delegates for SEMCOG. Commissioner Van Sickle also serves on the Regional Review Subcommittee. The board office supports many different programs, events, and outreach. We held 2 drop-in bike rides this year. Commissioner Grote partnered with Commissioner Van Sickle for the second one. Our casual day program has hit $730,000.
A lot of money.
This year we did hold both Green Schools celebrations, the breakfast at the MASD and the Tri-County celebration at the zoo.
Not so much when you look at it.
We have published 5 editions of the Guide to Government Services since taking that over in 2017, and we do have exciting plans to revise it for 2026. We did hold the legislative town hall this past summer. That's held every other year. Our office fully supports the Macomb Orchard Trail Commission, which Commissioner Grote is chair of. The Older Adult Advisory Committee has seen an increase in attendance from commissioners. They have returned to meeting in this boardroom and using our agenda management system. They created a new agenda item where they report on their district report from the different members. The BOC office has had a table at the Senior Fun Fest that's put on by the Office of Senior Services every year since 2022. That's attended by 1,200 seniors. We held our 3rd annual Student Government Day this past January. 47 students submitted essays this year and almost 25% of them attended. And thank you to Advancing Macomb, we're able to offer a $1,000 scholarship to the essay winner. We held our swearing-in reception in December. That's only held in election years, so now we have 3 years until we hold that again. Our summit is being planned for spring of '25. You will be voting this week for this year's Veteran of the Year, which will be awarded next month. We celebrated 27 volunteers this year at our volunteer recognition dinner reception, which has been held annually since 1989. We also celebrated our 10th annual Yoga at the Hill this past summer, and that received a NACO award in 2024. And since last year at budget time, we've sent 22 newsletters or email blasts and 16 press releases. Also this year, we added a senior spotlight section to our newsletter, which is sent out every other month. I have bad news about the staff. We were at 100 years of combined service. We're down to 90 without Mary, but we aren't fully staffed, so hopefully once we are fully staffed again, we'll be back over 100. Our budget is on page C17. I've outlined the line items that we have direct control over. Out of those, although our budget is increasing almost 35%, it's really only $11,000. The bulk of that is in conferences and training based on requests from commissioners this year that wanted to attend conferences that we didn't have room in our budget for. So we've added an extra $10,000 to increase that to $40,000 for next year. To compare ourselves to our neighboring counties, who are also charter counties, we have less staff per resident, less staff per commissioner, and our office budget is less per commissioner and per resident than our neighboring counties. So we do a lot more with a lot less. And that's all I have, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Crystal. I don't see any questions from commissioners. Thank you. All good? All right. Awesome job, everybody.
You got bumped.
Please vote.
They should all, yeah.
Thank you, Crystal. Made my job easier.
Commissioner Romano, the system didn't receive your vote. If you'd like to voice vote, I can add it.
Yes.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on any item, you have a maximum of 3 minutes. Anybody from the public? Okay, close public participation. Move on to commissioners' comments. Seeing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Wallace. Please vote. See you all tomorrow.